In a world unraveling at the seams, few passports are as politically radioactive as the Iranian one. As of 2025, Iranian citizens are being systematically locked out of global travel, targeted by sweeping visa bans, closed-door diplomacy, and outright blacklists. But why now? What triggered this tidal wave of restrictions? And which countries are drawing the boldest red lines? These aren't your average travel advisories. These are full-scale travel bans, crafted in backroom negotiations, fueled by proxy conflicts, espionage scandals, and military escalations. From Washington to Tel Aviv, Tehran is being boxed in. Is this about national security or political theater on a global scale? One thing is clear: the world is closing its doors. Today, we're counting down 10 countries where Iranian citizens are outright banned or severely restricted in 2025 based on verified intelligence, public policy shifts, and diplomatic fallout. Stick around, because what happens at number 1 could change the course of Middle Eastern geopolitics forever. Number 10, United Arab Emirates. For decades, the UAE was considered a haven for Iranian expatriates, entrepreneurs, and tourists. Over 400,000 Iranians lived and worked there, primarily in Dubai's commercial zones. But as of 2025, that era is officially over. In January, the UAE government halted all new visa issuance for Iranian citizens, citing regional destabilization and increased threats to national security. The decision came amid escalating tensions between Iran and Israel and the UAE's growing alignment with US and Israeli defense initiatives. Security officials pointed to suspected Iranian surveillance networks operating in the Gulf and regional instability worsened by Iran's proxies in Yemen and Iraq. Iranian residents already living in the UAE now face a maze of legal uncertainty, with visa renewals delayed or outright denied. Economically, the stakes are high. The UAE's GDP hit $540 billion in 2024, and with inflation at a manageable 2.9%, the expulsion of Iranian professionals and business owners introduces serious risk to small-scale sectors, especially import-export trade. But the political message was unmistakable. Iran no longer has a safe harbor in the Gulf. Is this a prelude to broader Gulf Cooperation Council bans? And what happens when hundreds of thousands of displaced Iranians return home, financially gutted and politically radicalized? Number 9, Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan and Iran once maintained delicate, if strained, diplomatic ties. But by 2025, the situation has reached a breaking point. In February, border clashes between Azerbaijani forces and Iranian-backed militias escalated into an international incident. What followed was swift. Azerbaijan suspended all visa services for Iranian nationals. This ban wasn't just reactive. Intelligence leaks revealed Iran's deepening ties to separatist groups in Azerbaijan's south, as well as alleged plots to sabotage gas infrastructure tied to European supply chains. With gas exports making up 60% of Azerbaijan's 85 billion GDP, the threat wasn't just military, it was economic sabotage. The real shock came when Baku accused Tehran of sponsoring cyber attacks against its Ministry of Energy. Iranian diplomats were expelled, talks collapsed, and thousands of Iranian business people, academics, and tourists were turned away at airports and land crossings. The message? Baku has chosen its allies, and Iran is no longer one of them. With Azerbaijan aligning more closely with Turkey and NATO, is this just the beginning of an anti-Iranian buffer zone forming in the Caucasus? Number 8, Morocco. Morocco has had Iran in its crosshairs since 2018, but in 2025 it doubled down, reaffirming its entry ban on all Iranian citizens. The Moroccan government accused Tehran of escalating support for the Polisario Frente armed separatist group seeking control of Western Sahara. The latest accusation? Iranian-made drones being deployed in guerrilla warfare. This geopolitical wedge has massive consequences. Morocco's tourism sector, once welcoming Iranians for cultural and religious tourism, has plunged by 12% year over year due to growing regional instability. And the Iranian ban is just one element of a broader crackdown on any foreign interference. Behind closed doors, Rabat has been aligning more closely with U.S., French, and Israeli intelligence operations. These partnerships have brought high-tech surveillance tools into play, with Iranian-linked communications now flagged by default. Iranian NGOs and student programs have also been formally outlawed in 2025. For Iran, Morocco represents not just rejection, but ideological betrayal. Once a neutral player, Morocco has now joined the front lines of geopolitical containment. Will others in North Africa follow suit? Number 7. Jordan. Jordan may appear quiet on the surface, but behind the scenes, the Hashemite kingdom is rattled. In 2025, it became the latest Middle Eastern country to ban Iranian citizens from entry, citing credible threats linked to proxy recruitment, arms smuggling, and incitement within refugee camps. What makes this ban unique is the timing. It followed weeks of unrest in Syrian refugee zones near the Jordanian border zones that intelligence officials claim were being infiltrated by Iran-backed operatives. The Jordanian General Intelligence Directorate issued a rare public statement labeling Iran a regional agitator. With a 55 billion GDP and soaring 22% unemployment, Jordan can't afford any missteps. The state is fragile, and Iran's influence is viewed as a trigger for sectarian spillover. By cutting off Iranian entry, Jordan hopes to reinforce its alliance with Gulf monarchies and secure expanded military aid from Washington. But will that be enough to hold the line? Or is Jordan the next battleground for a proxy war already spiraling out of control? Number 6. Egypt. Egypt has historically played mediator between warring powers. But in 2025, Cairo took a stand. It tightened visa restrictions on all Iranian citizens, effectively blocking most forms of travel, including pilgrimage, academia, and business. Why now? The answer lies in the Sinai Peninsula, where Iran-backed militant cells have allegedly begun staging attacks against Egyptian security forces. These reports come as Egypt reels from record 32.1% inflation and dwindling public confidence in the government. With talks to restore full diplomatic ties collapsing in April 2025, Egypt slammed the door shut. The shift is also symbolic. Egypt was once a channel for regional diplomacy with Iran. Now, it's reinforcing its alignment with Saudi Arabia and the US, both of whom are pushing for a tighter anti-Iran coalition in the Middle East. Is Egypt merely reacting to terrorism threats? Or is this a signal that Cairo is choosing sides in a new Cold War brewing in the region? Number 5. Israel. Israel's ban on Iranian citizens isn't just strict, it's total. As of 2025, Iranians are barred from entry under all circumstances, whether for tourism, family visits, or even medical emergencies. Iran is officially designated as an enemy state under Israeli law, and contact with Iranian officials is criminalized for Israeli citizens without prior government approval. This travel ban is more than symbolic. It reflects decades of deep-seated hostility between the two nations. With Iran ramping up support for Hamas, Hezbollah, and Islamic Jihad, Israel views every Iranian national as a potential threat vector. Intelligence agencies have confirmed increased cyber infiltration attempts originating from Iranian IP ranges. In 2025, the situation escalated after Iran publicly celebrated an attack on an Israeli consulate in South America. Israeli airstrikes on Iranian positions in Syria followed. Border walls went up. All Iranian-linked NGOs, journalists, and humanitarian missions were blocked. Is this sustainable long-term? Or are both nations inching toward direct confrontation that no visa policy can prevent? Number 4. Bahrain. Bahrain has long accused Iran of meddling in its internal affairs, but in 2024 the accusations took a dark turn. Following a massive cyber attack on government servers which Bahrain blamed on Tehran, the Gulf Kingdom expelled all Iranian diplomats and imposed a total entry ban on Iranian citizens. This wasn't a hasty move. Bahrain claims the attack was tied to Iranian attempts to destabilize its Shiite majority population and undermine the Sunni monarchy. With a GDP of 45 billion and inflation nearing 5%, Bahrain is a fragile state and the leadership isn't taking chances. As of 2025, all visa applications from Iran are automatically denied. Airlines have been instructed not to board passengers with Iranian passports bound for Manama. The diplomatic freeze is total, and Iran has retaliated by cutting energy cooperation with Bahrain-linked firms in Iraq and Syria. Is this just about cybersecurity? Or is Bahrain sending a message that sectarian influence will be met with political annihilation? Number 3. Saudi Arabia. Despite some thawing in 2023 talks, Saudi Arabia and Iran remain bitter rivals. And in 2025, the kingdom has not reopened entry to Iranian citizens, maintaining a near-decade-long ban rooted in religious and political mistrust. The Hajj pilgrimage, a pillar of Islamic unity, has become a source of geopolitical division. Iran accuses Saudi Arabia of politicizing the Hajj, limiting Iranian pilgrims under the guise of security. Riyadh, in turn, points to past deadly stampedes and blames Iranian protest groups for instigating chaos. In 2025, Saudi intelligence claims to have thwarted Iranian plots to infiltrate religious seminars and incite unrest among Shiite populations in the eastern province. This was enough for Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to reaffirm the entry ban, branding Iran as a destabilizing religious force. Can two of Islam's most powerful states ever find common ground? Or is the religious schism now too deeply weaponized? Number 2. Canada. Canada's visa suspension for Iranian nationals in 2025 shocked the global academic community. Effective March, Ottawa suspended all visa issuance for Iranians, citing national security threats, espionage risks, and interference in tech infrastructure. The decision comes amid a chilling revelation. Intelligence reports claim that Iranian students were embedded in Canadian STEM programs tied to sensitive defense technologies. Over 10% of Canada's international STEM applicants in 2024 were Iranian. Now, they're completely blocked. For a country known for multicultural openness, this marks a dramatic pivot. Immigration services are facing lawsuits. Iranian Canadians, many with dual citizenship, are caught in bureaucratic limbo, unable to reunite with families or pursue professional paths. Is this a justified security precaution or a case of collective punishment? Number 1. United States. At the top of the list, the United States. In June 2025, presidentially issued Proclamation 10,949 reinstated the total travel ban on Iranian citizens. All visa categories tourist, student, immigrant are off the table. Homeland Security has activated enhanced screening for Iranian Americans. Iranian passports are treated as red flags. The impact is massive. Over 1 million Iranian Americans have family in Iran, and this ban severs those connections overnight. Universities have pulled funding for Iranian PhD candidates. Tech firms are lobbying for exemptions, to no avail. Officially, Washington blames espionage threats and military alignment between Iran, Russia, and China. But critics argue this is more about political theater than real security. Biden's approval rating surged among hawkish voters after the announcement, fueling speculation of 2026 electoral motives. Is this truly about national defense? Or has Iran become the ultimate scapegoat in America's crumbling foreign policy narrative? The 2025 global map tells a chilling story. Iran is being boxed out of the world. These bans aren't just diplomatic gestures, they're economic warfare, cultural isolation, and psychological escalation. From Silicon Valley to Mecca, from Tel Aviv to Toronto, Iranian passports are now a symbol of suspicion. But what does this really achieve? Will isolating 85 million people bring stability or spark desperation? Are we solving terrorism or fermenting the next global conflict? One thing is certain, the world isn't just banning Iran, it's daring it to retaliate. Stay tuned, subscribe, and brace yourself, because what happens next might just change everything.